The web is full of transitions. Good transitions can improve user experience by helping users understand where they are on your site. They can also reduce the effort needed to navigate and can make pages feel faster and more responsive. The new View Transitions API allows developers to easily create custom transitions between different states and pages. In this video, I'll demonstrate how to leverage the crossfade provided by the API and show you how to customize these transitions with CSS. So fire up your favorite editor and let's code. Here I have a gallery of photos. Clicking on each photo expands the image and reveals the photo caption below. The HTML is a simple unordered list of images and an aside that holds the figure element. I use JavaScript to move the image element from its place in the list to the figure. This is important for this demo, since this movement is what I'm going to transition. Check the description for a link to the full source code on GitHub. As you can see, the result is pretty jarring. With the new View Transitions API, I can tap into a more interesting transition like the default crossfade. To implement a same page view transition, I'll start by calling document.startViewTransition. Here is where I'll pass in a callback function that updates the DOM in some way. This can be anything, adding a new element, updating a style, or setting an attribute. All are valid. In this case, I'll pass in the functions that open and close the lightbox. At the time of this recording, browser support for this API was at about 73%. So for browsers that don't support it yet, I'll add a fallback. When the Start View Transition method is invoked, the browser takes a snapshot of the elements before the DOM is updated. Next, the callback that updates the DOM gets executed, and the browser takes another snapshot of the elements after the update. These before and after snapshots are stored in a tree of pseudo elements like this. The browser will smoothly transition between the old and new states using a default crossfade. The default is to transition the whole page, or root. However, there is a way to isolate elements by adding a view transition name, but more on that in a bit. And that's all that's needed to make view transitions work. This already looks so much smoother with the default crossfade. But again, what if I only wanted to transition a single element and not the whole page? Luckily, by adding the view transition name property to the thumbnail image, I can signal to the browser that I only want this element to be included in the transition. To make things clearer, I'll remove the view transitions from the whole page, or the HTML element. However, view transition names must be unique. If two elements have the same view transition name, the animation will be skipped. Take a look when I click on the thumbnail to the right. You can see that the default transition is no longer being applied. A quick look in the DevTools confirms that two elements cannot have the same transition name. To make sure the selected image name remains unique, it must be removed once the transition is finished. Luckily, the View Transition API includes a finished property. This property is a JavaScript promise that fulfills once the transition is finished. So by making this callback an asynchronous function, I can ensure that once the transition is finished, the view transition name will be removed from the image. Now, there's only one named element on the page at a time, and the transition is applied only to that element. Now this is looking fantastic, but what if I wanted to apply custom animations to an element? Because the before and after snapshots are stored as pseudo elements, I can select them with CSS. Additionally, I can target the old and new states of any element that has a view transition name, like this. Back in my CSS file, I'll add the view transition name property to the lightbox. Then I'll create some animations with the help of this keyframe animation tool. Links in the description. I'll create animations for fade in, fade out, slide up, and slide down. Next, I'll select the new state of the lightbox and apply the fade in and slide up animations. I'll do the same for the old state, this time applying the fade out and slide down animations. And there you have it. View transitions can provide engaging and user-friendly experiences on the web. This is a powerful API that allows you to add depth and interaction to your web pages with very little effort. Check out the links in the description for more info on the API. And let me know in the comments what you've been building.